Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the SU-14-2. It's the Tier 8 Soviet SPG. It's located on the west spawn of Berlin, and this one's under the command of ProvoBob. I'm wondering actually if we've got engine noises here. I've heard some engines start, but I'm not sure if we've got them overall. Oh, we do. Okay, so game on. Now he's got the 203mm howitzer, the B4 howitzer. I can tell that because of the short barrel at the front of the vehicle. The Russians only made 2 of these, and they fought from Kubinka, which is where they're now located, or where one of them is located. I don't know what happened to the second one, but really, basically, it's the same as an SU-14-1. The only difference being really it's got that casement over the top to protect the crew from shell splinters and bullets, and of course it's got a radio station as well, which means that they can at least contact the people who want the artillery fire. So basically those are the only main differences between this one and an SU-14-1. Okay, where's he going to situate himself? I think he's found his position relatively close to the cap area, but there's a number of targets he can aim at. He might find some of those targets a little difficult to get, but this is a really good target to aim for. The SU-130PM has got virtually no armour, and so any Arty round hitting it's more than likely going to get a max roll. Round out. Well, it actually went to the left, so I think RNG was unkind to him there. If that had actually hit the target, I think there's more than likely he would have ended up with something like 900 hit points or thereabouts. That's the alpha for this howitzer. 900, penetrating 52mm of armour, which is much more than the SU-130PM has. I think that's only about 30mm of armour. And standard reload is 42.19 seconds. And you can see that, oh, you hit 2 there, the Carnarvon and the Emil. And you can see that ProvoBob's got 34.22. So he's actually got quite a fast reload for this Arty. Now, a lot of Artys do tend to stay where they spawned, and this is one likely area that you might find enemy Arty, because I must admit I've used this spot myself. It does give you the ability to shoot into the centre of the town where the other tanks are. Oh, he just killed the GW Tiger. He did spot it and I didn't, and as a consequence he's just killed the enemy, or one of the enemy Arty. There is another one, it's the Lorraine 15551, the tier 8 Arty, and now he's probably somewhere else, but he's just taken out the tier 9 one, which means he's earned extra 10% for taking out a higher tier opponent. Still waiting for the reload to go in. 2.1 second flight time to the target. Lines it up. Rounds out. Not bad. 380. It's a splash. It landed right in front of the GSOR. Despite what some people say, the GSOR 1008 does have some armour. It's not paper thin. It also has a very good gun. Although I must admit, I haven't seen that many players get bronze medals with the GSOR. Rounds out the Type 59. Splashes for 208. Again, RNG put it to the left, not to the right, or not down the centre. Well, so far this game has been fairly even, although we do have control of this central area, which stops the enemy from crossing into our area. So is he going to put a round into that corner? He could possibly splash the Wizzy 111. Rounds out. Yes, he does. 330. That was a good shot. difficult shot because it was a very narrow gap. That Emil 2 is a one shot. He's a splash kill actually. And in fact, actually, I'd say that the Wizzy 111, if he actually managed to hit that thing, he might actually take him out of the game altogether. But it's questionable because it's a non-penetration shot. Okay, well, he's lining up on this corner. Let's see if the Emil or the IS-6 try to come round. Looks like the IS-6 is eager to come round. Okay, this could be fun. Jabs out. Oh, good shot. He actually got the engine bay of the IS-6, which tracked him and stunned him. Now, are we going to get some stun assists? Come on, guys. Shoot the stun target. ProvoBob's not marking his target. You need to put the rescue over the target. Press the T key, and that puts the down arrow. It tries to focus fire from your teammates out there. They see the down arrow, they start focusing on that target, or they see the request for fire. Well, the Emil's gone, the Wizzy 111 is gone, and the IS-6 just took another big hit from ProvoBob for 283. Unfortunately, we've lost control of that central area though, because all of our teammates got wiped out in there. And that means now that, well, the next enemy that we're likely to see is going to be those guys once they push through, because there's nothing to stop them now. They might go off into the top or the northwest corner of the map where the FV3805 is, but he's actually being targeted by the enemy Lorraine 15551. They just landed a shell near him. You can see that circle appear on the map next to the FV3805. And the worry is, of course, if the enemy Arty was firing up there, there's a good chance that, yeah, the Carnarvon, he went up there, he shot the FV3805, who never even saw the Carnarvon. But remember, that means the Carnarvon's going to be headed this direction now. Lining up a shot on the Type 15-9. He got a bit of reticule bloom there as he moved the vehicle. It's a 4-degree firing arc either side of the center line. If you move the vehicle, it blooms the reticule quite nicely. And yep, ProvoBob's decided I need to head south, and that's quite correct. Because if he stays where he is, he will be meeting that Carnarvon as he comes south towards the cap area. Not just the Carnarvon, but the IS-6 as well. And I think that IS-6 will probably be looking for some revenge for those shots that actually hit him. And here he comes. Okay, can we get a shot on target? Just lining up now. He's very close. Very close. Just got tracked. Nice direct hit. 299. It hit his upper plate. It didn't pen. But he did go down because he was stunned, and ProvoBob picks up the stun assist. So that was worthwhile, that one. He's got 2,300 hit points of damage and 600 stun assist. And now we've got a Waffenträger in our sights, and those things don't have any armor at all. So any shell that hits them is just going to go straight through and pen them. And then he'll get a high roll or a low roll. Remember, 900 alpha. This could be very expensive. Oh, he hit him! A direct hit. And that's got to hurt that Waffenträger. Now, I keep the aim on that spot because there's a good chance he's still there, but instead ProvoBob's decided to aim elsewhere. The Waffenträger has appeared all of a sudden, but instead we're focusing on the Type 59, who's very low on hit points. And the enemy just lost their star 1. We're 1 down on the enemy at the moment, so they are winning, but I think we're going to win on hit points. There goes the Type 59. There's the Carnarvon, he's the splash kill. Headed down the trench, which is not what I expected, but I suppose he's doing that because he doesn't want to get shot at as he gets close to the cap area. And we have been spotted. And the Waffenträger took revenge. Yeah, should have been a little further south, I think. Well, ProvoBob's out the game now, but he did pick up 887 from the stun assist. 2,478 for the actual damage shown. But remember, he got that big direct hit on the Waffenträger, and I expect that he probably got about 900 hit points off that. And we'll probably find that out in the end of battle stats. Okay, he's not following any of the others yet. Despite the fact that we're one down on the enemy, we're massively up on hit points, which means that the enemy tanks must be one-shots. I suppose when he fired at the Waffenträger, we could have looked at the totals to see how much they dropped by, but of course that only works on tanks that are actually spotted. When that Waffenträger came back into view, the figures would have realigned and we would have had a clue as to how much he actually did hit the Waffenträger for. ProvoBob's trying to encourage the guys down the south to come north and help the team. But I think that they're staying south at the moment because they want to take pot shots at any of the enemy when they turn up. It also could mean that they're inexperienced players. Carnarvon's just come out of the ditch slightly. Oh, only 21 hit points from the strip. Okay, ProvoBob's now following the strip, which means obviously we can see what's going on. Here he comes. He's trying to get a shot on the strip, and he just loses another load of hit points. 105mm rounds hitting the Carnarvon, and the Carnarvon gets him. Oh dear. So now it's 3 versus 5, but our team's got twice as many hit points as the enemy team. The only tank that seems to be moving up is the Liss. The Centurion's trying to get around behind. He's... Oh! Lovely. Takes out the SU-14-2. Now, can he find the enemy Arty? He was down, somewhere down in the south, I think. Makes sense for the Lorraine to actually head down this direction because he's got the speed to move down quickly, find a new firing position. He's been spotted. I reckon that must be the enemy Arty who's seen him. Is he just around the corner? Who saw you? Somebody did. And it is the Lorraine. But I'm not sure he was the one who actually spotted him, or did he? Well, he didn't survive very long. It could be the Lorraine was relocating and pulled back to hide, and he was the one who spotted him. Now, the enemy did have somebody in the cap, and they've just wiped out our E50, who looked as if he was a bit AFK at the time, or maybe he just wasn't paying attention. And now we've got the Liss holding the enemy from our cap, whilst the Centurion is running up the other end, and he's just gone through the cap, which lets the enemy know where he is, and he started capping, which is a bit of a daft thing to do. Maybe he is inexperienced after all. But look at that Liss, he's got 100% health. So we're watching the Centurion, who's sitting there thinking, I'm going to get an invader medal. And the Waffenträger, there he is, and it very much looks like ProvoBob took a huge chunk of his hit points with that direct hit. And here comes the Barask, and lost a load of hit points when he did that leap. And despite the fact that he's taken a huge chunk out of the Liss has just tracked him. Next shot will probably kill the Barask if he can get it in. No, he's actually being fired on by the Carnarvon. He turned around, which was not the right decision to make, but oh, yes, bad decisions. Now the thing is, the Barask could get back to the cap in time to reset. So now it's all down to our Centurion 7-1 and how good a player he really is. And I'm questioning it now because I think that was a daft decision to start capping. "10 seconds to go, more than enough time for the enemy to get back." Here comes the Barask. I heard some damage going on. Oh, he didn't get back in time. He may have mucked it up and fallen in a trench and flipped over or something because he didn't get back in time, and the Centurion's capped out. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for ProvoBob in the SU-14-2. He got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 11, and he got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle in damage. His win rate from that battle was 5,563, which is more than Super Unicum standard. But yes, he actually spent a fair bit of the battle inactive, of course, because he'd been killed. But he still managed to get a huge amount of damage during the time that he was in the game. Let's have a look at that Waffenträger hit. 888 hit points. Yes, he did get a pen, and it went straight through. He got a low roll, actually, but I mean, we can forgive that because it's such a huge amount, and that's, I think, what tipped him over getting an ace tanker there. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he did get the highest damage on his team, but not the highest damage in the game. That went to the Carnarvon, who got 4,635 hit points at the end of that game. He got a Spartan, high caliber, top gun, and the steel walls. So very well played by the Carnarvon. He was still alive and still capping, but yes, he was so badly wounded at the end. There was no way he was going to make it back to get the cap reset. We don't know what happened to the Barask. He probably did flip when he probably went over one of those trenches and flipped, trying to get back to the cap to reset, but the Barask was more than fast enough to get back in the time necessary to do the reset. So I cannot understand any other reason to explain why he didn't appear. So ProvoBob got the Gauze medal, and then we got the Centurion 7-1 getting 3,165 in 4th place, because the Waffenträger got 4,191, putting him in 2nd place, and ProvoBob in 3rd place with 3,866. When it came to kills, it was the Carnarvon on the enemy team. He got 7 kills in that one. Joint 2nd place is the Centurion 7-1, who capped out, got 4 kills, and the Waffenträger also got 4 kills. The Centurion actually got an Invader medal as well. And when it came to base XP, it's not ProvoBob, it's the Carnarvon again. Look at that, with 7 kills. He picked up base XP of 1,140. I've never seen that for a while, that the losing leader, or the leading loser in this game, actually ends up with more XP than the leading player on the winning team. 1,084 went to ProvoBob, so he was in 2nd place on XP, and the 3rd place was Centurion with 999. 12 shots fired, 6 direct hits, 2 penetrations on the enemy, 10 splash. Now, who did he penetrate in that one? We know it's the Waffenträger for sure that he penetrated that guy. Did he penetrate anyone else? He must have. There's the Waffenträger pen. No, can't see that. The Emil? No. The IS-6? No. I can't see which one he penetrated. Oh, it was the GW Tiger, the blind shot kill on the enemy Arty. Yes, the shell would have gone straight through that because the GW Tiger, again, doesn't have any armor at all. And of course, it's open top, which means any shell landing inside the vehicle is going to be terminal. So let's have a look at the rest of the detail. He also got 10 splash damages in the game. 3,866 hit points, of which 3,567 were at more than 300 meters. Received 1 hit, it was a terminal 1, it was a penetration, and that was the end of his game. 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 destroyed, and 887 hit points, a stun assist of 10 stuns. He earned 57,654 credits from the game, and after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, took away a profit of 6,124 credits. If he'd been on a free-to-play account, he would have made a loss. 1,626 XP and no multipliers, so that's all the experience points he took away, but pretty good actually for a school bus. They're difficult arties to play, the school bus. It's very slow. It does have a big gun, but it's also very big and very obvious, so it's not easy to hide, and when you do get spotted by the enemy, you've really got no chance of getting away from them. I think the only thing you've got in your favour with the SU-14-2 is the fact that you do have a 203mm gun, which can do a fair bit of damage, but if the enemy's close to you and they manage to get behind you, your traverse is so slow, you've got no chance of trying to spin round and get the gun on them unless you can back up against the wall or a hard object that they can't get behind. So yes, good try with the school bus, and well done on the ace tanker. Here's the armor profile for the SU-14-2. Not many of you probably have had a look at it, but anyway, it's based on a heavy tank. So what you're looking at the front there is fairly heavy armor of 15mm. Effective armor's slightly higher because it's obviously angled very slightly, but the upper plate is actually a bit more angled, and that's 50mm of impacted armor, but with the angling it goes up to 98, so fairly solid armor on the front of the vehicle. The sides, well, the sides of the vehicle are only 30mm, and because it's fairly slab-sided, even at a slight angle, it's still only going to give you effectively 30mm. So if somebody gets by the side of you, they're easily going to be able to penetrate. And at the rear, it's even worse. It's only 20mm at the rear. So fairly easy to pen from the sides and rear, but not so easy to penetrate from the front of the vehicle. You can, it's 50mm on that screen at the front there with 58 effective. Let's have a look at the modules. Okay, right, now the modules. You've got the driver sitting, basically, he's fairly well up front. He's got the engine to his left, no driver's mate or anything like that. Transmission right in front of him on the deck. There's two fuel tanks, one either side of the engine, and they're sitting directly behind the driver. So, yes, he's the one who's going to get the fiery end, not the guys at the rear, unless, of course, their ammo rack goes off. You've got two gunners, one either side, one probably working the elevation, the other one azimuth. And there's a TC, or tank commander, on this side of the gun, so he's behind one of the gunners. There's two loaders right at the very back, and they've got ammo racks in the side of the vehicle, which you can see there on both sides. So fairly easy to get a shell through here, because remember, it's thin armor, it's only 30mm. The radio is at the back at the top, but I think most people ignore that. So actually, if you aim round about sort of like shoulder height above the tracks at the back of the vehicle, that should be able to take out the ammo racks on this vehicle. If not, then you aim for the front of the vehicle and sides, and you'll either get the engine or the fuel tanks. But yes, much easier to aim for the back of the vehicle at the and at the sides, because yes, they're fairly big, and you're more than likely going to hit a crew member as well if you do that. So yeah, that's the modules for the SU-14-2. So I hope you enjoyed that game. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.